on page Kuf Lamed Zayin. So we finished discussing the way through our Avodah we mamshich all the spheres. That's what he says in Shoma, page Kuf Lamed Zayin. Shoma Tzchon Pchinas Malchus Pe'eli. וזהו דנשמה ישראל ממשיך מבחינת שיר קיים מבחינת אדם העליין דמם של מדרגת אדם כי עצמות עצמות אינסוף מבחינת לא אדם עצמות אינסוף איזה מדרגת לא אדם מה היינו מבחינת קודש נשמה ישראל ממשיך מבחינת קודש יש קודש ברוב נשמה ישראל are the ones who cause that from עצמות מדרגת קודש ונמשך עם קודש והיינו ממשיך מבחינת העליין ישראל שמייכין Chol Spheres had avoided the Kechas Nefesh. To avoid that's the Kechas Nefesh that was described. Top of this page, we mamshich the Sof into all the Sakechas. In the okay, finished one point. In the Ikar Gilui, who the Viyal de Amalchus, the ultimate Gilui of Likus in Elohim's Viyah is Spheres Amalchus. וזהו שמלכוס נקרא פה, כמו מלכוס פה, we just said a few lines before, מלכוס is פה, if mouth is like the mouth, why? Moshe Dibo Gila Zula, just like Dibo. Just like speech. It means the expression, the revelation to the Zulas, to the outsider, to the other, Kamekim, because Malchus, who Nimshach, I guess, Nimshach Bibiyah. Malchus, which is like Peh, is the Amshachim Biyah. V'zeu Talmud Bebriya. That's why it says in Kabbalah that the Talmud Gemara is Nelam Abriya. Shalidei Talmud, which is Torah Shabal Peh, Mamshich Magil Nelam Abriya. So that's the Indian of Nelam Abriya of Malchus is the Peh, the Amshach Nelam Abriya. Going back to the beginning of the Maim, Zer Misam Pela Adam. So now we have no explanation of the words Misam Pela Adam. What it says in Pasuk, the Maim started Oim Hashem Moshe Misam Pela Adam. So really, he says Pe means Chinas Esa Spheres. That's Tzilus. Zephnis Adam. That's Tzilus. This Agilu. We have Misam Adam in the Pasuk. Misam Pela Adam means like it says Lo Adam. Remember, he said right in the beginning. But I said Lo Adam, but idea means really the Adam alien. Pela Adam means so Esas Adam means Esas feels that Matzilus. Lisa Gila Bia, no, it should be a pet, which is Malchus. Should Nimshach Bia. Aloy Noichi Avaisem Knesakes. The Koyach of Malchus, the Maldeg of pet, the Yerida in Bia, the Madrega comes from that comes from Kesem. Ma. What is the connection of Malchus to Kesser? That's really Marum is in the Lashon of also Pasach Elio, Kesser Elin Kesser Malchus, the Kesser Elin, which is the Kesser which is above Atzilus, which is like we said on Neichi, the Madriga of Kodesh, above Atzilus, that is Dafka Nimshach in Kesser Malchus, in the lowest one. So he's going to go to explain this. The ACS share Shemikadnas Asech. So the Holy Geras HaKedesh Simen Hey in Tanya, he explains the ACS, which the power, the words, the power of speech. Really, the ultimate source is Kadmus Asech, the beginning of Sech, means above Sech. The Eini Savas ACS Ma'amit source, like it said over there in Geras HaKedesh. That we can't say that the word, when a person says words, it's a result of the Mitzvah Sapeh. Maybe the five, what was the proper translation? I don't remember. The 5 ways that the parts of your mouth produce the letters. For example, the lips, as mem, base, pay, as the lips, etc. So he says this ain't a sour says mitzvahs. It's not like the oisios come from the mitzvahs, because beavers also have the mitzvahs. They also have all the parts of the mouth that can produce letters. Why come beaver doesn't speak? Because other about oisios menim is a mitzvahs. Kaneda. There's oisios in the nefesh. because you want to say these oisias, that moves your mouth in a specific way. So the oisias are not a result of the mitzvahs hapakel. They are the source of the mitzvahs. Okay, so that's a marshal on the fact that the malchus, which is peh, the Oshval peh, is really comes from Kesef, from Kadmus. Okay, so that's, he says, that's the nimshul. Parts of a malchus, the aces malchus and aces the kesser. The aces of malchus really come from the dig of kesser. With lolos, malchus from this diber alien, but aces the kind of sechla shosh from this kesser alien. I don't know what the word bechlolos means, but basically he just explains it. That the aces of malchus, which is the diber alien, come from kadnas sechla, which is a kesser. But zer kesser alien, the ear kesser malchus. That's the meaning of what it says in Pasach Eliyah. Kesser Malchus. Kesser Malchus is Mamsh gets its energy from Kesser Eliyah. Zeh the Kesser Malchus nasa Kesser Vatik leBriya.
Yes, I'm sorry. Kesser Elyon meaning the Kesser in a Silut.
Yeah, the Kesser which is above Atzilus. The Gam. Another pshat in Kesser Eliyah, Kesser Malchus. So one pshat is that Malchus gets its ACS, its energy from a ring of Kesser which is above Atzilus. Gam. Another pshat in Kesser and Kesser Malchus, the second shot is the Malchus Atzilus, not the Kesser Vatik leBriya. The Kesser of Bria comes from Malchus. The Yadua.
So what has to do with what is the Elyon here?
No.
In the second Peshan, what is the Kesser Elyon? It's in the Kesser of Atzilus.
It's the Kesser Elyon of the next of Bria. The Kesser of Bria, it's going to say in a minute. The Yadua, the Prinas Kesser. That's a chiddush that is mechadash. It looks like mechadash here. The do Prinas Kesser Vatik the Bria Shaykh Laich Prinas Atik that Tzilus Yesem Shaykh Prinas Chachma that Tzilus Atik that Tzilus. The Shar Saksorim Zem Izek which because we could tell the Rabasa Vikaker. We added already also in the moment before. The concept called the Shtar Saksorim Zem Izek. The Kesser of each Olam have a direct line. So the Kesser of Bria has a direct connection. The Kesser of Atzilus more than Chachma that Tzilus has the Kesser of Atzilus. Because both of them express the Indian of Makif, the Indian of Sevet. That's the concept. It says in the Torah, Ishtashos Aksorim Zem Izeh. All the Aksorim have a direct line from each other. Now he says it. Pirush Kesser Elin Kesser Malchus, the Pchinas Kesser Shenasach Nisam Malchus, Vaynekam Malchus Nasach Nis Kesser Vatik the Bria Zer with Pchinas Kesser Elin. That's here he says the. Here it says the Shtar Saksorim Zem Izeh. In other words, so what's the difference in these two pshatim? So according to the first pshat, the koyach of ACS comes from Kesser Elyon. According to the second pshat, you're right, so the word Kesser Elyon still means the Kesser which is above Atzilus. But here, why is the Kesser Elyon correct with the Kesser Malchus? So the first pshat was, like I said, because just like ACS, the second pshat is because Ishtash Saksal Vizem is that there's the direct connection of each of Kesser of each Olam to the Olam above it. I don't know if you can find a marshal for it right now. Maybe I'll look for it.
So the Kesser, the first Peshan, the Kesser Elyon, the Kesser, but Abu Silut
becomes the both pshat in Kesser is Kesser Fatzil. The question is why is it Kesser Malchus is a Kesser Elyon? According to the first pshat, it's because it's like ACS Mekayim Mekadmas HaSeichel because Malchus expresses the certain madrega of the union of ACS. The Gilui comes from the Etzim. That's one pshat, and the other pshat is pshat. I mean, what pshat? Pshat is that the Ksorim, the aspect of Kesser of Malchus has its direct line to the aspect of Kesser of Atzilus.
I understand. I'm trying to understand why the first Pesha is saying Kesser Elyon, you Kesser Malchus. The Malchus has Kesser itself. Why? So we are talking about the Malchus is receiving from the Kesser Elyon. So what is the Kesser Malchus? What is the Kesser Malchus means?
Yeah, the Adgosha is Malchus. The Adgosha is Malchus, and the second pshat, the Adgosha is Kesser. Okay. I have a question. It sounds like in the first shot the word Keser is not that Gosha so much. It's more than Malchus. In the second shot, the Keser is that Gosha. Yeah, the question which word you stress more? So going back to our pasuk, so so these two explanations. Malchus is connected to Keser is marumas in our pasuk. Me some pelo the man that seals who creates, where's the source of the inyan that Adam Ellen should be ever pay, which means Gili Bibia, Knas Machas Nas Atik the Bria, why must Knas Machas Gili Kanen Ellen the Bria? In other place it says what aspect of Machas that is Gal in Bria, the Kesa that's Ganeden in Bria, Alcoponim, Alea Nech Havai, was Kesa Ellen. Kesa Ellen is the source of Kesa Mal. That's moments in the pasuk. Mi some pelo Adam Alei Nech Havai. Oy mi yosem ilim. Now, what is the pshat? Oy mi yosem ilim. According to this, it's a ilim. Ilim is a person who can speak. Nine, so that answers something else. Nine, zel uma zel salikim. The pasuk 7 kehelis. The Eibush created the world parallel, one against the other. Kamoish yechad mekdusha. According to uma zeyesh adam bliyal. There's an expression in Tanakh, Odom Blial, which means a evil person. Let's see, was it in Tanakh? 1 second, I want to find it. It's in Mishle. Let's see what it says Mishle. Odom Blial ish oven elach ikshus pe. Interessant. Okay, so that's a pasuk in Mishle in Perek Vov. I see the translation in Blial. Interesting. Blial means without bli toilet, without any. Let's see what Rashi says. Rashi says, okay, Rashi. Call me Daisavim Royce, Adak says. Russia. So, okay, Adam Lial means a person, a evil person. What is it? Okay, so that's impossible, obviously, but according to Abshad, Adam means, right now, possibly reading Adam in the state, in the sense of Aymed Regas Ruchnius, Adam, star Adam, the Kedusha is Adam that seals, and Belaz is Adam Belial. In Le'umazeh, there is a concept called Adam Belial, the Chartumi Mitzayim, Oyu Pchinas Chochmet Adam Belial, says in Kabbalah, the Chartumi Mitzayim, they had the Chachomim, Chartumim, and they are the Chochmah of Adam Belial. They are the Madrig of Chochmah. In Adam Belial also says the Tziu Adam, there's the Chabad, Chagas, Nehi. So the Chochmah of Adam Belial, that's Chartumim Pari. The Gimel Sori Pari, the Gimel Sori Pari that's mentioned in Chumash, in Pasha Chumash Bereshit, in Pashas Vayeshev, you have Sarah Tabochim, Sarah Eifim, and Sarah Mashkim. So the Gimel Hatomim Pari says, also Kabbalah says, it's connected Koneveshet Vridin, the 3 parts in the body, because we want to show in the Ummah that the also at the body, so the Hatomim Pari represent Chochmah of the Adam Shdel Ummah. The Gimel Sori Pari, that's Koneveshet Vridin. It's the 3 parts in the body, the foot pipe, the ear pipe, and the blood vessels. It's not just these 3 parts of conservation and reading really represent, in a way, the 3 similar to the three streams that are in the Koiches Adam, the left, right, and center. Mele, the whole shiur came with Adam B'Liyalo, yes, sorry, Pari. Sorry, Pari represent the entire shiur came, the entire statue of the Adam. Ineksi la'oim yametz. Pasuk says in Parashas told this, the Eivishter told Rivka la'oim yametz. One means the Dusha and the Umazeh, one will overpower the other. Mele, in our case, they she'iu Gili Prinas Adam the Gdusha, the Via. No, the Adam the Gdusha, which is Atzilus, should be Mizgal and Bia, like I said before, to the pair, or it's a Bitla Shir Koimel of the Bia. Loimel Yamitz means it's impossible that both will have the power at the same time. It's either, like Rashi says, on Loimel Yamitz, Loim in Yerushalayim. If one is strong, the other is destroyed. It's the same thing in Ruchnias and other, but Adam the Kedusha Shbenim Shamiyas and Adam B'Liyal has to be destroyed. Bitla Shir came with Adam B'Liyal. So that explains what we said in the beginning of the Maimar, but from Medrash. Remember, there was Nasa Kolach Lusin Ilmin Charesh. Says that Moshe ran away from Parai in order to make sure that Parai can't catch. Moshe said, Eivishter made the entire population of Mitzrayim, either they can talk or they can hear or they can see. Why did he do that? He has the question, why did he have to do it? He couldn't find a better way to say Moshe. It's a much bigger miracle to make the entire population deaf and it could have made him. Moshe should become invisible. So now he answers the shot in the Beruchnis, which means it really means that they're bitla kechas adam b'liyal with the shigil adam b'kedusha b'liyal. In other words, Moshe, in order for Moshe not to have control, so the kechas del umazeh, which is the chlusi of Paro, have to be destroyed. That pshat nasif ulam v'chesh shayach hazel Moshehu, and that's the directly collected to Moshe. Why? Moshe Gili Prinas Per Elyon. Moshe is really the Gili Per Elyon. I could learn later. Moshe Kibbutz Torah Messina. Moshe is the one who received the Torah from Sinai, which does say Vayikol Torah Sheval Peh. And the pshat in the Mishnah, Moshe Kibbutz Torah Messina, when the Mishnah says in Pirkei Avos, what does Torah mean? Torah doesn't mean Torah Sheval Pirush Vayikol Torah Sheval Peh. The chiddush of the Mishnah is that Moshe received Torah Sheval Peh Messina. Moshe calls of Arab, Bartanura, or Vadi Bartanura, by Tetzitz Yantav. Both of them in the pshat and pirush of the Mishnah in Pirkei Avos. Moshe Kibbutz Torah Messina. The pshat means Torah Sheval Peh. Mele Shazer Gili Prinas Malchus Peh Kanal. So Moshe's function was to be mamshich. He was the peh to be mamshich elikus from Atzilus and Biyah. That's why he's peh. Yedua the Moshe oyer kol inyonoi lamshach Gili Biyah, because it's more specific into it. That was actually the kol inyonoi for Moshe. The whole mission and goal of Moshe was this particular function. V'hamshach Atzilus Biyah. Sometimes it's explained that's the difference between Moshe and Avram. What's the difference? It says Avram Imshagil Malabatilus. Avram's avodah was in the spiritual world, in Atzilus. Or Moshe Imshagil Moshe, that's what you learn in the Mayim Basilgani also. That's what it brings from Basilgani. The Medrash. This is a Medrash Moshe Ridalamata. Like Avram read a Merkia Aleph Lebeit. Avram's avodah was more in the spiritual world, but Moshe is the one who brought down the Shechina Lamata. So this chiddush of Moshe Gabi Avram is explained in the Ma'am Moshe Daber in Torah Israel. Valkein Sheboach Moshe Milifnei Paroi. when Moshe ran away from Paro, which really means that in other words, when he had to go do his mission to which was I guess it was the beginning of his mission. Also, he has to be saved. Nasa Beetle, the Adam, Liyav, the Shia Gilip, Adam the Gush. So that in order for that to happen, the Adam of Liyav, the Umas had to be destroyed. Again, Zeo Misam Pel Adam, Adam the Gush. Lisa Gilbiyad, Matamata Nechavai. The Sam Pel Adam who created the pet, Malchus Pe on Nechavai, like we just said before, because earlier. Oy miyosem ilim lav gam nechavai. So nechavai also creates the other side. It destroys the ilim. It destroys the klippus. Like it says when they get to the markets of Mitzrayim, who destroyed Mitzrayim, and that is talking about markets players there, and nivelei malach. Dafka from the madrigo faneish. Kamoi, and also another thing in. Also, we say in that God of the Gate Tzitzias Mitzrayim, Ach Nigel Alem Melech Malchem Lochem. Which Madrega was Nimsha to save Eden from Mitzrayim and to destroy the players of Mitzrayim, the Madrega of Melech Malchem Lochem. I'm sure it's going to Kodesh Mikodesh. So there's a Davke Nasa Beetle Adam the Lumas. This is what created the beat. This was made the beat of the other lumas. That's what happened in Mitzrayim. The Marcus Players and Michal the Marcus. I know the Moshe and Mispal. So again, so Moshe said, "How can I speak to Paro?" So Moshe and Mispal. Moshe was wondering, it's not just how he's going to speak. There was a deeper meaning to Moshe's wonder. How is it possible, the first part, how can be Amshach saying himself mathematics? But Gam or Aklipa Kosher the Mitzrayim Shemineh Makabi and also he was wondering how can the cleave of fire be destroyed? The Ein lost and Pel Adam Gedusha. It said the Eibishter answered him. Moshe said, how will I do it? How is it possible to be Mamshach in this world? And as Mamshach to destroy the Klippe, as the Omar, the Eibishter answered him, the Ein lost and Pel Adam Gedusha. To give a mouth, which means to give the ability to be Mizgal and Biyah. The Ein Lavat, as Adam Gedusha, Umazeh al Nechavai. Right. So the meaning of what is not that he was a quad pair and before what you'll get healed. No voice, like he said before, but they gam can ness gam shemdaber he said it early in the beginning of the Maimon that the Rebbe told them you'll continue speaking, have the spare, which some, in the function, there's a few ways to say it. Quite pace, I say that he was, what do you call the word? He was stammering, couldn't speak clearly. That's one shot. What? Stuttering. Yeah, was stuttering. That's one of the shot. So he says, despite that, Apari will listen to him. Or Shalif Nepari, that would be either or the other one, the point in front when he speaks to Pai, they're able to make sure he doesn't stutter. That's not what the point in the Pasuk Misam Pel Adam. Here, what the point of the Pasuk Misam Pel Adam is to tell him these two things that that he will be given a pay and he'll destroy the clipper. Again, see, he goes back, summarizing. The Bashar, Shemar, Moshe, Lifnei Paralam, Shagil, Prince Bel, Nasa, Kol, Chusn, Elim, Cheshesh, they'll be called the Mriel. זה מסמפל האדם, זה שיהיה פה וגיל האדם האלה, דאצילס בביאה, אוי מסם אילם אז אדם ליאל, לא יונכי הבית. So in the end of it's a short minor here. At the end, the point of the idea is that the gilui of Aneche Havai, the gilui of the very high Radrige of Kesser, that creates the possibility of both the Pelo Adam, which is the Amshacha of Fatilis and Biyah, and also Yosam Ile means destruction of the Lumas that comes from Aneche Havai. Let's go back, learn the mind of the second time. Page, it's a pretty short memory relative to this book. Page Kuflamet Gimel. Shabbat Shmoy Zayin Ches, Vayim Avam Hashem Elov.
Now, David, in the first time, the first pages we flew through it, so.
Really? I don't remember. Okay, but we get slow.
Thank you.
Misam Pelod, Oim Yosam Ilam Echesh, and Lo Yonech Havai. So that's the passage says. The Moshe Rabbeinu said, it was a response. It was a response to Moshe saying, 1 second. Sorry, 1 second. So the pasuk is in the Shmois. Let's see what's the pasuk before. Vayem Moshe el Hashem. You see that make it easier to understand what's going on. Pasuk before says like this: Vayem Moshe el Hashem bi Adoni lo yish dvarim anochi gam mitmoil gam mishil sham gam me'adaber ladecha kichvat per chvat loshna anochi. Moshe Rabbeinu tells Moshe to the Eibishter what he's sending with the power. I'm not lo yish dvarim anochi. I'm not a person who's good at speaking. I'm very, like you say, it was stuttering, whatever. Hashem Elo, so the Eibishter answered him, Misam Pela Odom, and Misam Ila Chesh, Pikech Iver, and Nechavai. So that's the Eibishter's answer to Moshe Rabbeinu when he tells them, Lo Yish Dvarim Anech, Kvat Pech Kvat Loshon Anech. He said, Yerushalmi, so the Yerushalmi says, interesting Yerushalmi. Amar Shaban Levi. So in other words, the Eibishter told Moshe Rabbeinu, Miyasam Ilim, Echer Shapikeh. It wasn't stam theoretical destruction. I have the power to do this, I have the power to do that. No. It describes something that actually happens, says the Yerushalmi. Amar Shaban Levi, Shor Shabbat Moshe Nifnei Paroi. Moshe ran away from Paro because Moshe killed the Mitzri, and it says in Pasuk that Paro got heard of it and he was looking for Moshe, so Moshe had to run away, right? So what happened? How is it possible? How was Moshe able to run away? Nobody captured him. So that says the Yerushalmi, Nasa Kola Chlusan Shaloi, the entire population of Mitzrayim. 1 second. The entire population of Mitzrayim became Yomim, Yomim, some of them became Yud, Mehem Chershim, some became deaf, Mehem Surim, some became blind. Omali Yomim Mechem Moshe Le'Redaber. He asked the mute people, where is Moshe Rabbeinu? They couldn't talk. They couldn't because they're mute. Omal Chershim, and then he told the other people they were deaf. They couldn't hear what he's asking them. Omal assuming, then Apari asked the blind people, where is Moshe? They couldn't see. They didn't see where Moshe is. It's interesting. Who Sha'ama HaKadosh Baruch Hu Moshe misam pela adam mi yosam ilam alech havai. That is the Yerushalmi. Chamon kam tloch vel ochel leisanakoy. What does that mean? Let's try to figure out what these words mean. Yerushalmi brachas. Okay, so what does it mean? Oh, here's in English. It's, okay. One second. Let's the Yerushalmi says further there. I'm reading Yerushalmi. Tamad kamtlach v'achal an kaimer. There I stood to save you. You I do not stand to save you. Oh, so in other words, basically, why did the Eibishter bring in this pasuk here? Moshe Rabbeinu tells me I can speak. So, oh, you know what I did for you? I made you the Mitzrayim. Some of them deaf, some mute, some blind. Ma'akeshos. He says the Eibishter told Moshe Rabbeinu, Tamon kamtloch. When you were to run away from Mitzrayim, I stood up for you. I made this big miracle. Everybody got blind, etc. Now, when I asked you to speak, I wouldn't stand up to help you. That's the end of the Yerushalmi. Although the Ksiv, that's what the pasuk says. Mila Hashem Elokeinu b'chol koreinu elo. Because anytime we need your help, we can rely on Hashem. That's the Yerushalmi. But now, okay, it's an interesting Yerushalmi that he's quoting here in mind. But really, when you think into it, this Yerushalmi as a question. Why did the Eibishter have to punish the entire population of Mitzrayim? And remove some of them, the ability to speak, some to hear, some to see. The Eibishter could have saved Moshe Rabbeinu other ways. He didn't have to make make the entire population of Mitzrayim sick. That's an interesting question. But I'll say it would have been easier to make Moshe into a body which is not seen. If the Eibishter make Moshe someone who can be seen, so that ness applies only to one person. In other words, the Eibishter made a huge miracle. The entire population of Egypt all of a sudden became either deaf or mute or blind. Instead of that, the Eibishter could have made so to speak, an easier miracle. What would have been the easier miracle? Just Moshe should become a roy vein. Okay, but that's what it says here. But I mean, I'm thinking to myself, deaf and being deaf or mute or blind, it's something within nature. Some people are blind. To make a person that I'm just saying, it's a much more it's a miracle which is almost against nature. There's no such thing in nature. There's no such person.
But it says neither lahem.
Okay, it's still
it means they have to be invisible, or it could mean that that they didn't see him, that he ran away. That they didn't see him.
It's
invisible. Okay.
To me, okay, yeah, you're right. But even that, like, let's say the two options the Eibishter has: either to make someone either to make someone blind. There are two people in a room, and the Eibishter one should not see the other. So there's two options: either to make one of them blind, or the other will make them invisible. What is more of a miracle to you? In my mind, when the person is blind, it's like a miracle, because the minute before he sees, all of a sudden he doesn't see. But that's within the realms of nature, because some people are blind. Mashiach can make a person invisible. That's like it's not something that exists within nature. That's my personal question here, but obviously disagrees with my view. Obviously, that's not the way the Maimon sees it. The Maimon sees it that basically it looks at more from a quantity perspective. One person, whatever happens to that person, is one person. But an entire population, it's a much grander miracle. Okay, you can understand that also. But now,
the answer based on the on the conclusion of the Maimer is because of what? Because the Kalipa, yeah?
The answer, okay, you want to jump, look at that. The answer to the question Maimer is, it takes Maimer, he's not talking Pshat. The answer of the Maimer is B'chal Pichsidus. It explains the entire Pasuk and the entire Yerushalmi, not in the sense of Pshat. It's a concept. The Eibush has to destroy the Klippa. So, in other words, the thing of destroying Klippa, so that if Moshe will be invisible, that's not gonna do what we need to do here. It has to be the destruction of Adam Blial. So for that, you have to make them sumin in Cheshire. That's the answer. Again, the answer is al Pichsidus, not al Pipshat. Al Pichsidus. That what happened here was not some some. It wasn't like one person running away from the other. Rebbe saves them. That was one realm, one level. But in the Maimer, the end of the Maimer, he looks at the entire thing from a totally different perspective. This entire Moshe power in Mitzrayim, it's a higher level of spiritual forces fighting each other. So in order to destroy Mitzrayim, in order for Moshe to be able to be Mizgaleh, there has to be destruction of Mitzrayim. So that's why him being invisible is not going to do it. It has to be. So that's the answer. Like I said, the answer is not pshat, because like I'm saying right now, the question of pshat is not such a it's not such a quartz kasha. You can't answer it. It's a question. But now, interestingly enough, now he goes into the Chagav, a whole discussion about something else. He explains the statement he just made. Why did Eibush make such a big miracle? Could have made a smaller miracle. So when you think about it, Eibush is Kol Yochel. So for the Eibush, a big miracle, small miracle, all the same. So he's asking a question, his own question. What do you mean? Should have made a smaller miracle? Why does it matter? Big miracle, smaller miracle, everything is equal. So that he brings in for another Chazal. The concept that we say that there's some miracles are easier than others, we find in Chazal also. We find in Chazal that when even we talk about the Ebershter, it's Kol Yochel, we say that Nisim, the concept of miracles in this world, will go against nature. It's kosher. There's a certain level. It's hard. It's not smooth. Why? The Lashon Chazal kosher lezav and Keres Yamsuf. That it's so hard to pair together. People chosnu kala zivugim Keres Yamsuf. As hard as it makes it sound like Keres Yamsuf is hard. What's meant to us? Ha'nika Keres Yamsuf kosher. The concept of Keres Yamsuf, which is a miracle, is called hard. Is for the Eibush anything hard? It's still Yochel. It's not limited by any limitations. Why we call it kosher? So he explains. Why did he say that something is hard for the Eibush? Doesn't mean like for us it's hard. It's hard for us to pick up a heavy object, something like that. Can't say such thing about the Eibush. He's like I said, he doesn't have any agbal. The pshat, the means. Because the Eibishter wants the intent and the interest, the way the Eibishter created the world, he wants it to run according to the laws of nature. So the laws of nature is real, that's his goal, that's his intent. The Mele, so to change nature is called kosher. Why is it hard? Not hard because he can do it. It's hard for him to do it. Hard means it's against his intent. He created the world. He wants it to run according to the natural order. Here he goes and breaks the natural order. So that is kosher. That's hard. So that's the meaning of kosher. All this, then he jumps into interesting, like it's almost like a few details. He jumps into another point. He says the point we just made, that the Eibishter created the world, it should run by the laws of nature. And if you do something against nature, it's called kosher. It's also expressed in our own life. Where do we see it in our own life? That is why to bring likus in this world is not something that happens automatically. It requires hard work because it's kosher, it's hard because the Rebbe created the world. It should run by the laws of nature, which is not gilui likus. The highest that aspect of chayes eliki in this world. That whose function, whose goal, whose function is to create and run the world. For that we don't need avodas Hashem, avoid. It happens automatically. Gilui kuz ba'olam nimshach al yedei avoda v'yirdav. The gilui likus in this world, bringing likus in this world, requires a lot of hard effort. So that's another way to explain why Ness is kosher. Anything against nature is kosher. But he goes another question. Agam shagam al zeh shalatzim shegil likus ba'olam. What kind of pnimis? The Eibishter wants it should be gilui likus. It should be part of what since that's what he wants. It should be easy. It should not be hard. The answer is but the way the Eibishter created it, that the kavanah pnimis, the inner intent of creation of the world, is hidden by the behemoth. So the shine hateva, change of nature, is harder. V'meile, going back to our point, okay, see, like I said, interesting, I got into dito shebedito. He wanted just to make one point. He wanted to ask a question. And he asked the question and the question. The question was, why did Abraham have to make such a huge miracle? The entire population of Egypt should become crippled. He could have just changed something in one person. No, why did he have to make such a hard miracle to make so to speak, an easier miracle? So in order to explain this all kinds of, there's a harder miracle, easier miracle, he got into the discussion, kosher. That miracles, anything that goes against nature, it's not really the way the Eibishter wanted to create the world. So see, that's why I got into this interesting long discussion. Now it's going back. Going back to our discussion, what are you saying? So the Eibishter could have saved Moshe Rabbeinu not by creating the miracle that the entire population of Mitzrayim should become crippled. Could have changed Moshe, should become invisible. Why did he have to make? Why did he have to do something against nature if it's kosher? It's something that's not the original intent. So that, I mean, there's another. We learned in a lot of other Lashonis and Chazal bring out the same point. First of all, there's a famous expression in Chazal. The Eibishter doesn't make a miracle for nothing. That's one expression in Chazal. Also, if you remember in the Maimah Kotointi, if the Eibishter makes a nes, it reduces your merits. So maybe nisim are not something we should, in a way, we have to. You have to. We can't say as the Eibishter should be shown nisim of saying yasalon rigoloisonim. But in the normal way of life, nisim are not something that the Eibishter wants. He wants the world should run in the laws of nature. So the male. The question remains, why did you have to do this huge miracle of crippling the entire population of Mitzrayim? Okay, so that we finished that question and the Yerushalmi, number one. Then there's another question in this passage, unrelated. Like we said before, this passage, Moshe was a response. Moshe Rabbeinu said before, the passage before, Moshe Hashem, lo yish dvarim anochi. I'm not a person. I'm not a speaker. I what do you call it? What was the word he said? I stutter.
Stuttering.
Like I said, not all Mefarshim agree that the word "kvat" means stutter. There's some. I think there's some other ways to explain "kvat." The point is that it's not natural for me to speak, and I'm not a good speaker. That's what Moshe tells him. The Eibishter answer. What does the Eibishter answer him? Misam pelod. So this says the Rebbe Shab says here that answer also needs explanation. Gam tzarich lo'avin mashal. Of course, misam pelod maloi anech. The mashma. So what is the simple mashma of Moshe says to the Eibishter? Who am I to speak? I can speak. Eibishter says, I'm the one who created speech, and I'm making people. So the mashma says, it means that since I'm the one who created the power of speech, so I'll help you. I'll talk. I'll make you ois kvatpe. Shekvar oyetz opar. I'm sorry. That's the question. We see Lemaise. If you read the psukim after that, Moshe did not become ois kvatpe. So when the Eibishter tells him, the Moshe tells the Eibishter, Moshe, and the Eibishter tells him, I'm going to fix, I'm in control. So the simple meaning is, oh, so I'm in control, I'll take care of it, I'll make you iskvat pay, yeah? But Moshe did not heal from that problem he had was kvat pay. Why do we know that? The next parsha, this is the parsha Shmois. Next, in Parshas Vayera, after the Eibishter told him, God, go and speak and everything, says the Moshe to the Eibishter, "V'ani aras v'sayim." So we see the Eibishter did not heal him. So why did the Eibishter tell him this pasuk, "Misam pel odem"? He didn't heal his problem of kvat peh. Oh, but Medrash then the Medrash says, when it's happened at Torah, when did Moshe Rabbeinu heal from that impediment that he had? It was quite bad. That happened at Torah. Says the Medrash say because of Eila Dvarim Shadivam Moshe. That's the famous the beginning of Chumash Dvarim. Eila Dvarim Shadivam Moshe Bnei Yisrael. Says the Medrash. Minay LeDibah LeMoshe. How can Moshe speak? Aliquat Pek LeLosh. Elish Vantein is happened Moshe. That's what the Medrash says in Parshas Dvarim. So, but tzarich la'avin. The lawyer kavanah was the shisra. I'm sorry. I made the same mistake the first time. So tzarich loymar. Okay, I'm sorry. I made the same mistake the first time. Tzarich loymar. So we must say that when the Rebbe said me some fellow, the lawyer kavanah was the shisra. Doesn't mean since I'm the one who created a peh, I'll heal you from your problem of kvat peh. That was not the meaning of the pasuk. Misam peh. No words. It means I will be, since I'm created your mouth, I'll make sure that I'll be with you and I'll guide you, so to speak. Which means despite the fact that you have this impediment of kvat peh, when you come to power, I'll do something different. And punct, let's assume that kvat peh means stuttering. He says, throughout your life, you stutter. But when you speak, but when you come to power, I'll ensure that the power you'll not stutter. That's one pshat. Another pshat. If you just said, Isha's body said to these two pshat most in the end of the mind. The other pshat is shigari. That will be created. See, even if you stutter, power will understand what he's saying. So that's like the pshat misam peh. צריך להבין מה מסמפל לו, גם בזה נס, it'll be a special name. צריך להבין מה מסמפל לו. So he says, if that's what happened, then Eibishter basically said, you have this impediment that he can't speak, but I will make sure that if you speak to power, it's going to work. Either I'll take away the stuttering, or power is not going to be bothered by it. So the shiur to say that, the Eibishter didn't have to say misam pela adam. In order to make this miracle, the Eibishter has to mamish talk about how he created the concept of speech. He just said, "I'll do the miracle." And gave it. Well, if he would say, I'm just trying to understand maybe, but you say, if you say Misam Pelo Adam, I will fix it. Then it makes sense to say Misam Pelo Adam. But to say, in this particular situation, when you go to power, it's not gonna interfere with your mission. So for that, you don't have to say the whole pasuk Misam Pelo Adam Yasam Cherish. That's the it's this also, just like the first question, I wasn't 100% comfortable. Be honest. This question also, it's also like not a question that Psaklotskasha we can answer. We can still be say that to do that also you can say me some pay, but still. The question remains: why the Eibushter make such a grand statement? Me some pella odom aloy neicharai. Just because he did this miracle that when he came to power, his speech was okay. In other words, the question remains more. It's not like I said, not a klotzkasha, but it still needs a better explanation why they have to make this grand statement. Misam pela odom, like I'm the one who created speech. There's no need for do that to just to. Okay, so we finish with the two questions. So interesting, like it's two very long questions, and the questions are full of lumdus. It's not like sometimes in my mind, you just ask the question, gave right, and then he jumps right into Chassidus. Here he fleshed out the questions. Now he jumps right into the minor itself. The Adam becomes tachas alamet ein Adam hayadua. The word la Adam it could have been menukad. The nikud of the lamet can be two ways. It can be misampel le adam. Le adam means two human beings, two people. Misampel le adam. It says misampel lo adam means to the adam, to the known adam. So really the pasuk is maramet is something and something way different that we spoke till now. Really, some pella adam means Adam ayador means Adam elan shalakis. The word Adam here doesn't refers to a very high madrig in the likus. It says in pasuk we learn in the Makkah Cheskel. V'al Musa kise. Shenemar, like he says, Musa kise dmus kamar Adam Moila, and Cheskel saw a vision of all this highest and all this ways. A lot of madrigas nelikos, musakis, and above the all this chariot, there's muskamari odom alav milmayla. There's an odom which is above the kis. So this is the madriga we're talking about in that madriga of odom. That's what the pasuk refers to. But tzorich la'ovin. But he says, so in order to understand that, we jumps into explaining what does it mean, Adam? Adam. How can we say Dmus Kamar Adam? The Rebbe doesn't have, but the Rebbe doesn't have any vision, shape, and Adam, like goof, and doesn't have a body. And another, not only the Ksiv, there's actually a pasuk in Shmuel, Kiloy Adam, Kin Marin and Kamar Adam. So we have to understand what is the meaning of Kamar Adam. That most like said most Kamar Adam, the first saw a vision of Adam, and also Pel Adam. What does it mean in our pasuk that this Adam, or alien, has a pet? So that now we starting getting into the okay. Continue tomorrow.
Yeah.